So this case, like I told y'all before, guys, was a human smuggling case, maritime human smuggling, which means it was done on the water. Okay. The person's name was Stanley Roll, a Bahamian. Okay. And that is a very common last name because I can't tell you how many people I arrested that had the last name Roll. But this is the indictment. Okay. And you guys know an indictment is a formal charge from the U.S. government. A grand jury went ahead and listened to the case and indicted him. Okay. So this is one of the cases I did myself. So as you can see, 8 U.S.C. 1324, 8 U.S.C. 1324, A1A, all these different things. You guys are probably wondering, what the fuck is 8 U.S.C.? 8 U.S.C., guys, is the Immigration and Nationality, or the INA, okay? 8 U.S.C., typically, if you ever see anything that says 8 U.S.C., it's going to be an immigration violation to some degree, okay? And in this case, 8 U.S.C. 1324 is human smuggling or alien smuggling, all right? And then all these subsets is like a conspiracy or, inducement, whatever it is. Like, it specifies it a little bit. But 8 U.S.C. 1324 in general is human smuggling. 1326 is illegal reentry, and then 1327 is, I think, when you bring in an illegal alien that's a felon. But let's double check. So here's the indictment. He got hit with count 1, conspiracy to induce and to encourage and induce aliens to enter the United States. This is his name, right? And then the second, counts 2 through 17, encouraging and inducing aliens to enter the United States. Okay. And these were the aliens that he smuggled into the U.S. The reason why they wrote out these two guys' names and they use initials for these other guys is because these guys were convicted felons, guys. Okay. Since these guys were convicted felons, it's an extra charge if you smuggle in illegal aliens that are convicted felons. All right. And then next was counts 18 through 33, bringing aliens to the United States for commercial and private financial gain. What does that mean? Well, guys, I've told you guys this before. I'll say it one more time. Human smuggling is a business, guys. If you ever see an illegal alien in the United States, 9 out of 10 times, they were professionally smuggled into the United States through some type of illicit criminal organization. I'll explain. Let's say I'm a dude from China, okay? My name is Ling Ping. Are we canceled yet? No? All right, we're still here. All right, cool. So let's say I'm an illegal alien from China, right? All jokes aside. And I want to come into the United States. Well, right, I need to pay a smuggler in China to get me over to the United States. I might get smuggled in through the Bahamas, through maritime, or I might get smuggled in more commonly through Mexico, okay? So now I pay my smuggler in China. I got a contact there. He pays somebody else to get me from China to a transit country. Now, a transit country, guys, a lot of times is somewhere like Mexico, the Bahamas, or South America, where they can stage you, prepare you, and then move you into the United States. So for this example, let's use Mexico. I go ahead, I pay money to a smuggler. He facilitates my travel to Mexico, right? He hooks me up with hotels, etc., and he's in contact with smugglers in Mexico. This is an illicit network. Everybody knows each other, right? So he goes ahead, gets me to Mexico. I'm paying, by the way, the whole way. I'll tell you guys right now, the going rate for a Chinese national to come to the United States is typically between $50,000 to $60,000. One more time for y'all. Yes, I said that right. The going rate for a Chinese national to be smuggled into the United States from Mexico, the going rate is somewhere between $50,000 to $60,000, $70,000. Okay, U.S. So by the time they get to Mexico, they're probably already in $20,000 to $30,000. All right. So they get to Mexico and then they're moved north. As they're moved north, they pay more and more money to different smugglers in the organization. Okay, there's different types of people at different levels. So once they get to the border, right? Like let's say in Laredo, you got Nuevo Laredo, which is across the border from Laredo, Texas, right? Once they're there, they got to pay the final payment pretty much. And what that is that they're going to pay their smuggler to help them cross the river and into the United States and get in a vehicle and then get them to a stash house once in the United States. Okay. But that's just one example of Chinese. I know some of you guys are probably saying, yo, why do Chinese get charged more? The reason why Chinese get charged more, guys, as I get to take a sip of my thing here. This is how it goes. Chinese, Indians, Pakistanis, Arabs, anyone from the Middle East in general, those are considered exotics. Aliens from these types of country, guys, Russians, right? Aliens from these countries have to pay more because there's a security risk to the human smuggling organizations. They're smuggling someone who is of a different nationality, which brings more law enforcement attention to them, not only in their home country of Mexico or wherever it may be, but it puts them at risk for their entire smuggling organization moving aliens like this. So what ends up happening is one of two things. Either A, you got specialized smugglers that only deal with that nationality of aliens. Okay, so you got a lot of Chinese nationals, for example, that only smuggle Chinese nationals and they live in Mexico and they facilitate the transportation of said aliens. Or you have Mexican human smuggling organizations that will go ahead and take these Chinese, but they're going to charge them a premium, okay? Because it makes their entire, or it opens their organization up to be susceptible to law enforcement. Because even though police are corrupt in Mexico, it's one thing for them to turn a blind eye towards another Mexican. It's another thing for them to turn a blind eye towards a Chinese individual, okay? So that's why they charge them. So going back to what I was saying, human smuggling, guys, is a business. Anytime you see a smuggler moving aliens into the United States, typically it's for commercial or private gain, which comes back to this indictment right here that we're talking about. It's always going to be involved with money, okay? And then so they're saying that, you know, he went ahead and got commercial gain, and they're using these aliens as witnesses because these aliens actually paid him, right? And then we got conspiracy to allow, procure, and permit certain aliens to enter the United States. Then you got illegal entry of a removed alien. Okay, so this is a big one right here, guys. If you've been removed from the United States prior and you come back in, you get hit with something called 8 U.S.C. 1326, which is a felony, okay? The first time you're removed is 1325, which is a misdemeanor. 1326, however, is you've been removed or deported and you come back, okay? And this guy, Stanley, he had been arrested in 2011, etc. He had cases prior to when I arrested him, okay? Then you got count 36, illegal entry of removed alien, again, right? Because this guy was a removed alien, right? And then forfeiture allegations, like, because he got caught with a bunch of money. We seized $23,400 from this guy. So we ended up seizing that. We took his boat, 25-foot hydrosport vessel bearing Florida registration number, etc. And we took all anything else that he might have had. And you guys can see, we seized it. As you guys can see, he got indicted. This was the AUSA right here, Philip Jones, nice guy. We got a true bill, and he got indicted on November 8th, 2018. And I remember, because the way grand jury works, guys, is, you know, when someone's about to get indicted, right, I take all my information, I present it to AUSA, we get a grand jury day, I walk in there, I'm, you know, suited up or whatever, I sit down, and then I basically explain the case to the grand jury hears the case, they deliberate, and then, you know, assuming you have enough probable cause, which you do if you're doing a grand jury in the first place, you go ahead and you get that true bill. Once you get that true bill of indictment, the judge issues an arrest warrant for the individual. You take that arrest warrant and you go get him. And I'm going to explain to you guys how we went to go get him in a second. So let's go ahead and go into the factual proffer, okay, guys, with what led to this investigation. And we got 961 of you guys in here. Do me a favor and like the video, please. I would really appreciate that.